次は Marebito.
There, that works. Marebito. I don't have. I have the very American.
I mean,
like man, Marebito.
Marebito. Konnichiwa.
Yeah, konnichiwa. Labido, Marebito.
Marebito.
I don't know. Like
Marebito? It might be Marebito. It's not me. It's Marebito.
Okay. Marebito.
Which
I feel like I
tried
can't
to look it up.
I feel like I can't speak Japanese without raising my voice.
That's actually a thing.
Yeah.
You kind of have to speak in a higher, like it's a little bit more.
So there's no
higher
intonation. There's no like Barry Whites.
I'm sure there's Japanese guys, but even like I don't know. That's something that is a very common thing. Like I feel like I speak better Japanese, or I sound better when I slightly raise my voice a little.
And Korean always sounds like more. I don't want to. This will sound racist or something if I say it like that, but I don't know how else to say it. But like, not stoned or dumb, just like
it's a little bit more like relaxed sounding kind of.
But it's just like the way they talk is very like relaxed. I guess is the least offensive way to say it. I guess I should have came
Korean
up with that.
Korean and Japanese sound very different.
Very different.
Sure. They're totally different. I mean, but that's like all Asian languages, honestly, sound wildly different to each other.
I don't want to mimic it, actually. Never mind. Let's not get canceled off the planet.
So, Marebito.
Yeah, so this is also from the director of Reincarnation and a couple of the Grudge movies, Ju-on. Is that Ju-on? 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 Man, you just don't pronounce anything. You just kind of like... I always struggle with like half pronunciations of words.
It's like the N sound is like
because like with an Australian accent, they just like drop R's.
Yeah.
Right. Certain things like that, and then like with Texas accents, they like elongate vowels.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's always
accents are crazy.
Accents are weird because I talk about my accent all the time, and it's like I know everyone says this, but like I legitimately don't have an accent. Like I just say a word exactly how it's meant to be said. And when you're talking to someone from like Australia or someone from Texas or whatever, they're not saying the word how it's meant to be said. If you look in the dictionary and you press on the freaking pronunciation thing, it will say car, not caw. Don't tell me "caw" is not is an accent.
Southern like ways that you say things. There's like colloquial ways to say.
I get words. That, but there's no word I say. There's potato
you have
potato
an
type
American
of things.
Accent, so you say words well with an American accent, like English American.
Correct, but even if you go over to like England,
but they probably have
way
a different,
they speak.
Yeah,
the words they're saying that's not how they're said. Like, as I'm saying, when you look up the words in the dictionary and you listen to the pronunciation of them in English.
What if there's a British pronunciation in English? Like a British accent, you know what I mean? Like how Siri, you can turn...
You can't even understand certain, like Irish English and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or like Pocky, like we've talked about before. Like, those guys, they're not even speaking English. That shit is like complete nonsense.
They're like a mix of like whatever, Gaelic and...
Everyone can understand everything I say.
Everyone.
If you speak English, absolutely.
Yeah.
I am insanely easy to understand because everything I say is so exact. There's no slang or like added vowels or anything to any word I say. I don't talk. I'm not trying to say I'm better. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying what I don't feel like I have an accent because I'm not adding any flavor to anything. Mm-hmm. The way I speak is boring, is what I'm saying. I actually find like Australian and Texans and Louisianans and all those guys, what they're saying sounds way more interesting.
Yeah.
But I sit there and I'm like, that's not how that word is said.
We should do those. There's really fun where you like have a list of words.
Yeah.
And it's like how you say it and how maybe it's supposed to be said or whatever. Those are so fascinating to me because, I mean, yeah, well, with different languages too, like you have different mouth shapes that you use when you actually say the words. But that is like, but
we need to talk about this movie.
It's how you pronounce things. Like you really do put your tongue in different places, and your lips and cheeks and stuff move differently.
Yeah.
So
that's why it's hard for us.
That's why it's hard when
mimic each other's speech pattern
because you're not used to it. But
sure.
Anyway, this movie we just watched. We literally just finished it.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I wasn't big on this one.
Oh really?
Yeah, I found it to. I don't know. What did you think? I
liked it, honestly. I mean, it's of all the ones that we've watched out, it's not like my favorite necessarily,
it's
but
definitely my least favorite.
I was really into it. I thought that it was I guess what I wanted more of though was, because I don't really talk about spoilers.
You don't?
No, because our spoilers are going to go on longer. Okay. But there's some, so basically it's about like this cameraman who is sort of obsessed with trying to feel terror, like genuine terror. And he discovers an underground like tunnel system.
Hollow Earth.
It's kind of like Hollow Earth theory.
No, it is the Hollow Earth theory. But like he literally specifically says it.
Yeah, he finds an underground entrance in like Tokyo to, or I don't know. Yeah, he's in Tokyo to Hollow Earth, and he finds something down there. And so what I was really interested in was that, like all the stuff going on down there, and there's like some creatures and some things that I was like, ooh, that's really cool. Like I want to know more of that. And it does still play an important part in the film, but we do kind of go a different route that I wasn't expecting. And this is definitely one of those ambiguous films where by like the end, I'm definitely questioning what actually happened.
Oh, but beyond.
Because yeah. I think it could definitely be interpreted either way. Like
sure.
There's two ways. But I don't know which way I lean towards, to be honest. I'm kind of on the fence with both of them. But I quite liked the style. There's like, it's not found footage at all, but there are some like, there's
found footage hybrid.
Yeah, it's a found footage hybrid. So there's some cool imagery with like not VHS, but like recording. I guess it is VHS. I liked that, like the aesthetic of it all, and I thought that there was some creepy stuff.
I think it's technically like a mini DV.
Oh yeah.
Okay, whatever.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was into it. I think like the performances were really cool, and I like the ambiguity. That's definitely what I like about it. But I just don't know where I land on like what I feel is best.
So, I think what I don't like about the movie is that in everything that it sets up and tries to explore, I don't feel like we get anywhere near enough of any of them. So the film takes on too many different things and doesn't focus on one of them enough for me to feel like it's satisfying. So like the Hollow Earth thing, we spent so little time there. We spent so little time exploring how cool and interesting and unique that is. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. Wish there was more. Wish I could get it. But same thing with what he finds down there, right? As appealing as it may look at first, there's something that's probably explored the best and the most. So I feel like maybe that is fine. That one I'm fine with. But like the phone call he's getting, the people who, are following him around, and especially like this fear obsession.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that stuff is explored well at all. Like this is supposed to be like kind of the main focus of the film is his obsession with fear. And for me, I just felt like that was never properly being conveyed in a way where I felt like that was his focus. He mentioned it a bunch, but I didn't really understand what the goal was and also how it related to what we were getting, in addition to the fact that I have no idea what we were getting in context of whether it was real or not, or what it actually was. And as I had said, how it relates to his fear obsession. So all that stuff to me, it's just like a whole bunch of random ideas that seem cool in concept, but not in execution. There's cool things. There's kind of blending of realities because we do view the film through the lens of a found footage narrative, also with traditional classic narrative filmmaking. And they kind of start to bleed into one another a little tiny bit, but nowhere near enough.
Yeah.
And enough, just a little bit, and to a point where I'm more confused than anything of like, oh, that was cool. The hell did that mean? Right? So I don't know. This is one of those ambiguous films where there's not enough breadcrumbs for me. Now, on subsequent viewings, could I find it? Yes, but was I compelled to start this back over in a month from now and revisit it to try to figure it out? No, because I just don't feel like there's enough on first viewing for me to digest and figure out. I kept feeling like there was not enough threads to pull and to reveal the overall plan of the film over, through analyzation. So that's always got to be what's there. It's always got to present itself in a way where it's intriguing and ambiguous, in a way where you want to dissect and figure it out. And this one it was doing it to me to start, because there's intrigue and there's mystery, and you're like, yes, I want to get it, I want to understand it. But just as it continued to keep going on, it kept continuing to throw new elements at us.
Yeah.
And then like kind of giving weird reveals.
Right. Yeah.
Being like, oh, saying something that you were pondering, and being like, yeah, I'm kind of confirming that thing to be true, because you and I were both like, is it?
Yeah.
And then he says it and you're like, oh, I guess it is, but that's not much of a reveal.
Right.
Like you would think that would be like a Fight Club Tyler Durden moment, where it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And it just kind of is said, and then the audience is supposed to, because if you like look away from the screen for a second, it's not going to change the film at all until, because of how he acts and how everything is going. It's not like an oh shit moment. It kind of just says it, and then the movie continues, and you're like, so is that what's happening? I don't know. It's very anticlimactic in its reveals, and there's too much being thrown at the screen with not enough connections for me to interpret.
I see what you mean. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I liked it. I think that it had a pretty cool concept overall. But I agree with you though. Like there are things that I think could have been explored more and given to us a little bit more explicitly. But overall, like, I still enjoyed the film. It's of these ones that we watched recently. Like I said, it's definitely not my favorite, but I'm glad we watched it though. I'm so glad we watched it, because it's on a lot of lists for like top Japanese horror films. Yeah. So,
and it's from the director of movies we've really enjoyed.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's good to have seen it.
I didn't hate it.
No, I definitely didn't hate it at all. It just is, like you said, I do think although I enjoyed it overall, I do think that it leaves you wanting more. And it doesn't give you the more that you want, or a way to get to that. So that's it.
Yeah. So okay. That's that. All right, guys.
Bye.